What's up, everybody? Alex, Rusher 411. Guys, how's everybody doing? Hopefully, you guys having a great day out there. Hopefully, everybody, all the drivers are in the streets already. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day here in Los Angeles, so you guys got to take advantage of it, guys. Well, it's Wednesday, like I say, very close to the weekend, so hopefully everybody is planning the weekend, where you're going to be at. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be driving the whole weekend. I'm not sure if you guys gonna take a road trip, but today, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys something, a subject that is very, very important for every single driver out there, and it has a lot to do with passengers. Okay, and what I noticed this last days is that tips have been decreasing a lot, and I'm not sure if you guys, I'm the only one that has been looking into that, but I'm pretty sure that everybody has been noticing that. But I wanted to throw this video out there, see what I get from the comments, see what I get from your part. I do pretty good on tips. I have done really, really good on tips in the past since I started doing Uber and Lyft. But it looks like something is happening, something is going on. And I don't know if it's because all the BS that it's on the media out there regarding Uber. There's a lot of stuff regarding going on, deactivating a lot of drivers out there. So when all this stuff goes on the media, especially social media, when everything lights up, every time a passenger jumps in your car, they already got heat on their brains, so when they take a trip with you, it's really difficult for them to tip, and this is because they already got so much stuff in their heads, so you gotta be 100% on top of your customers. You gotta be customer service 100%, since you start the trip, since you arrive at their houses, since you arrive at work for them. Right now, LAX it's very difficult to approach somebody that is 100% happy, because all the changes that they've been doing, even with the last changes, people are still struggling on the shuttles. People hate the shuttles, so by the time you get to them, they're already frustrated that they already had probably a bad time in the shuttles. So that's a really negative point right there towards you, and it's really hard if they're gonna tip. You gotta probably switch that coin, flip that coin really good, and just have a very, very good conversations, and just try for the hopes that they will tip. But I'm gonna touch another video behind this one. It's only 5 minutes, 6 minutes. I want you guys to take a look at it, because on this video it breaks it down regarding tips, and it breaks it down since Uber started their campaign at the beginning, saying that the tips were included on the trips. So when Uber started sending those messages, when the company started, everybody that was riding with Uber, everybody was thinking that the tip was already included when you finish the trip, and it wasn't like that. But for Uber to take advantage of all this, all this open market out there, they just wanted to be the little good boys and the big boys out there. So for them to get more customers, or for them to get more rides, they were doing that. So first of all, that was a huge mistake from Uber, because now it's really hard to clean that up. Even if they add a tip to the app already, people don't hesitate to tip every single ride. But I'm gonna let you guys watch this video. This video is pretty good. It breaks it down pretty well, and it talks about only 35% of the riders that they ride with Uber and Lyft. 35% is the percentage that tip. That's a very, very low percentage. I thought this percentage was gonna be like probably 50-50, something like that. but 35%, it's very low out there. They also interview a lot of people, and a lot of people gives their feedback, why they tip, why they don't tip, why they only tip every time they jump in a cab, why they tip the cab, and why not they tip Uber and Lyft. So it's very interesting. So you guys take a look at the video, grab all the info that this video has for you guys. And if you guys are passengers out there watching this video, you guys take care of your drivers. You know, we're here to take you from A to B, you know, in a safety matter. And if we give you a pleasant service, if we give you 100% customer service, take care of your drivers. You know, it's hard times right now for the drivers, so just keep that in mind. And you guys, every single dollar that you guys give out, it's a lot of help for the drivers. You guys stay tuned for the next one. You guys take care of yourselves. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit the little bell out down there. Drop your comments. Tell me what you guys think about the second video. All right, guys? Stay tuned.
So imagine you're wrapping up a night out. You're ready to head home, but driving isn't an option, and you don't want to wait for public transit. So you use your phone and you fire up Uber or Lyft or whatever ride-hailing app floats your boat. 20 minutes later, you're faced with this screen. Do you tip your driver or not?
Sometimes.
I can't tell you the last time I tipped an Uber or a Lyft.
Sometimes I'll do it. Sometimes I won't.
I should tip.
I tip every single ride.
Wow.
Have to.
Aren't we just like much better than me?
Tipping etiquette on ride-hailing apps is totally unclear, so riders are all over the place with how they're tipping. Turns out only about 35% of riders tip consistently.
When I talk to drivers, tipping is definitely a big deal for them. It's something that's on their minds and that can make or break a ride for them.
This is Shireen Ghaffari.
I write about tech and labor.
App-based drivers and cab drivers perform a very similar service, but riders in the US pretty consistently agree. Cab drivers should be tipped.
I would never walk out of a cab without tipping the driver.
I instinctively tip the cab driver.
So what's going on here? Why is there so much confusion around whether you should tip on apps like Uber or Lyft? This split between how riders tip cab drivers versus app-based drivers can be traced back to the origins of Uber, the company that made smartphone ride-hailing a thing in the first place.
Uber definitely wasn't the first ride-hailing app, but it was the one that scaled the most quickly and became a household name the most quickly.
By 2015, Uber accounted for over 90% of all app-based rides.
So Uber set the standard in terms of what's the right driver-rider courtesy.
And for years, Uber set the standard that what's right is not tipping your driver. From the moment Uber entered the market in 2009, there wasn't even an option to tip in the app. Over the next few years, the company told curious customers over Twitter that a 20% tip was already built into the fare, and that there was no need for riders to tip. Uber also told riders that its drivers take home the majority of the fare.
I thought that Uber and Lyft were just showering their drivers with money so that you didn't have to tip.
I've always thought that the tip was built into the costs.
Uber's messaging around tipping had a huge impact. Even as other ride-hailing apps joined the market with tipping built right into the app, riders still saw these services as something that didn't require a tip. Still, for a time, even though app-based drivers weren't making much in tips, their pay was pretty good and, more importantly, stable. This chart shows what app-based drivers made between 2012 and 2014. Even though it goes up and down, it basically hovers around $1,500 a month. But that didn't last. As the ride-hailing market got more crowded, Uber and its competitors started to lower their fares to stay competitive.
There's been many reports that Uber drivers' pay has been going down over the years. Uber is saying that its commission is 25%, but there are some reports showing that it actually may be as high as 40%. And in some cases, they actually are lowering the rate that they give drivers per mile.
After 2014, app-based drivers' pay dropped dramatically, and by 2018, drivers were making nearly half what they were making just 6 years before.
you started to hear drivers get more and more disgruntled. You saw this sort of community form of drivers who felt like these companies may be ripping them off or not giving them their fair share. And the lack of tip became a real problem because the amount of money that Uber drivers were getting was comparable to how much they'd be getting in a cab where most people would tip.
To make matters worse for drivers, the reasons Uber had given for not including tipping in its app, those turned out to be not entirely true.
Uber had said that tipping is included in our bill. That was sort of debunked, and actually some people ended up suing Uber over that claim in part, and they ended up settling.
Finally, drivers' dissatisfaction reached a turning point.
I lost $97,000 because of you. I bankrupt because of you.
In 2017, Uber's then CEO Travis Kalanick gets in an Uber, and as he's leaving, the driver brings up driver pay to Travis.
You're raising the standards and you're dropping the prices in general, the whole prices.
Yeah, we have to. We have competitors. Otherwise, we've got a business.
And Travis sort of starts to blame the driver.
You know what?
What?
Some people don't like to take responsibility for
I
their
take
own
responsibility.
They blame it.
Definitely was sort of an inflection point because it made the company look like it didn't care about its drivers. And I think when you have that hand in hand with this no tipping policy, it was not a good look for Uber.
Several months after this video, Uber finally added a tipping option to its app. But that wasn't enough to change the pervasive no-tip culture the company had already built.
I always tip cab drivers, but I don't always tip Uber drivers.
I didn't know people would tip.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought everyone tipped.
So, should you tip your Uber driver? Well, that's still up to you. But just keep in mind, just like cab drivers, app-based drivers do not automatically get tipped. And if you tip in a cab, you should probably be doing the same for app-based rides. Reconsidering how we tip isn't going to fix the larger problems with the ride-hailing industry, but it's still a good thing to do.
I will say that the gig economy is tough. It's a tough gig. So anything you can do to reward people for good work, I think is nice.